What your ADHD child wants you to know. I am Michelle McVitie, mom, the manager, parenting coach, and child life specialist with over 2 decades of experience in pediatric medical and mental health. I have been in the trenches with families and children. I used to work with young offenders. I've worked in daycares handling behaviors. I am a parenting coach in a clinical practice and also in my own business. I have been mentored by psychology, psychiatry, and worked alongside social workers to wrap around a child because children and teenagers really want to do well, but it can be really hard in a world that just doesn't understand them. A diagnosis of ADHD can sometimes come later on in life. And there's three different types of ADHD. So you can have ADHD hyperactivity, ADHD inattentive subtype, which we used to call ADD, or combined type. So both inattentive and hyper. Hyper can be lots of talking. Hyper can be climbing around and feeling like you have a motor running in your body. The other piece that you want to consider is they are very emotional. It's not in the DSM, but it should be. It's just not measurable. A child that is this emotional can be overwhelming for parents. They're highly sensitive. And because of their emotional control and their impulsivity, so executive functions such as those things I just mentioned, organization, focus, are up to 3 years behind. So you have an emotional child that is behind and up to 3 years being able to control themselves, their emotional control and their impulsivity. We have lots of explosions. We have lots of behaviors. It usually gets aggressive, angry. This is what we see. And we think we need to stop this now. This cannot continue. Parents can sometimes feel a little bit hopeless. I don't know how to respond. And if you're waiting for a diagnosis, it can be really difficult. It can be really difficult to know whether you should put your child on medication, how to best support them, because a lot of times when they diagnose a child, then it's like, here you go, here's the information, and good luck. And it doesn't feel good. You feel isolated. That is why I created my Facebook group, ADHD Parenting. The link is below. A beautiful community, no judgment, only support of parents that have been through what you've been through. And I also jump in to do some training in there and answer questions for parents because I have some answers, but the community also jumps in to say, this is what we've tried. This has been our experience. And sometimes you just need a hug from someone to say, I am not alone in this. So this is why parenting a child with ADHD is a different level of parenting because they are more emotional, they're more impulsive, they can be really smart. But when it comes to social skills or their emotional resiliency and how they respond, they're really at a young stage. They sometimes struggle with social skills because of that. Other kids mask it very well because they're more inattentive, they forget things, they lack focus, but they're quiet. But so the teachers don't notice. And then they have tons of homework. They haven't been paying attention. They wrote down math, not the page, and brought home their science book. So do we even have textbooks anymore? I might be aging myself, but you get my point here, right? Where a child is struggling, they need tools, and then we want to bring them somewhere where they can get those tools. And yes, sometimes we can do that. Social skill groups, um, learning some executive functioning skills. Coaches are great at that. There's some great tutoring centers that will support your child in their learning, organization, focus. Those things are great. If your child has anxiety, we can work on that. If they're emotionally dysregulated, we can work on that as well. But we really need to think about their age And you can take a child to therapy, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the right fit or that they want to. And you do not want to force them into going to a clinician because if they're not ready and they're forced into it down the road, if they do become more ready, then they've had a bad experience. And now I don't know if I want to do this. There's some great groups that can be helpful for teenagers. But really, what we're focusing on is like the social skills, the emotional regulation, the executive functioning skills. That is what we're doing. We are not treating ADHD. We are treating those lagging skills or the other mental illnesses that usually come along with ADHD as well. Comorbidity, having more than one mental illness and being diagnosed with more than one mental illness is actually quite common. And this is a lengthy process. It can be very emotional. And so, as a parent, the best thing you can do is to love them, support them, and understand that their brain is like a Ferrari with bicycle brakes. What your child needs is consistency and love. The structure, clear expectations, visuals and checklists and timers are going to be your friend. Understanding that their brain is a Ferrari with bicycle brakes, they need lots of repetition, and that their executive functioning skills which are behind, will need that repetition and those systems and structure. The world is full of information, and I'm here to say I've got the answers for you. You do not have to dig through the internet to figure it out. There's a lot of parenting courses out there. Knowing which one is the right one for you can be tough. So I hope that you found this information relevant. I do not charge a lot for my courses because I want them to be accessible. And when we think about a child with ADHD, behaviorism works, but also we need to do that emotional regulation piece, the emotion coaching. That is really important to see them, to acknowledge their hard work, but still set firm and kind boundaries. I am here to support you. My links are below to connect with me one-on-one. That it might be the first step to really understand how to navigate this world. I also have my Facebook group and many courses that will help you, whether you want to deal with your child's ADHD and their big emotion, behavior getting in the way, or more specific ADHD training. I have it all. Links are below. Comment below if you have any questions or reach out to me. You are not alone in this journey.